Welcome, it's King Lizard on Xbox One with Forza Motorsport 6 multiplayer racing action, and this is Nurburgring GP in the rain, as you can see, and I'm driving the Donkervort. Lost a few people there on that first corner, about 4 cars went off there. Now we actually have 8 human players, I believe, in this race, and the rest of the field is filled up with expert AI. Now, one of the things we noticed quite quickly when racing on Friday and Saturday last week in multiplayer was that when you fill the field up with AI, the AI are kind of oblivious to the fact you're on the track. Either that or they deliberately aim for you. I'm not sure which it is, but pretty much they were brutalizing us. If you got caught at the back of the pack or you started in the middle of the pack, you were pretty lucky to make it round half the lap, because these things would just literally drive through you as you're driving around the track. And I've actually managed to capture some replay footage of that stuff, which I'll share with you guys soon. Hopefully it's something Turn 10 are going to fix pretty immediately, because it is really frustrating. I play with quite a few different people, and you know, they're all pretty competent racers, and literally they were just getting massacred by this expert AI, and you know, it did kind of ruin a few people's nights. I had quite a few write-offs that evening. I do drive with simulation and damage, so I had the AI write me off at least 4 or 5 times during the course of Saturday evening alone, and that was out of about, I think, about 15 or 16 races. So that's quite a few races to be taken out. I mean, it's, you know, not much better than driving online against real people, if you like. Although at least real people won't be stupid enough to damage their own vehicle. What I did find is that when I turned up computed damage, so that every vehicle on the track took damage, they weren't quite as frivolous with their crashing through human players, but they still did it, and it still resulted in the odd end of race for people. So there's, you know, some real work that needs to happen on that AI. So we're into lap 1 there, just coming up. There we go. So I managed to hold off the guy behind. Now this Donkervort is an A695 class vehicle, and it, out the box, it's a beautiful car to drive. I was quite surprised how well this vehicle handled. Didn't really want to go through that puddle, made a bit of a mistake there, because I'd actually driven this thing in Forza Horizon 2, and it was dreadful. Absolutely hated it. So I retuned it and got something I kind of, you know, could settle with. But in this game, out the box, it's a beautiful car to drive. Really enjoyable. I do like my open top cars or cars with no roof when I'm driving, you know, from first person perspective. So it's just a, you know, really fun car to drive, and quite responsive. Did have the odd scary moment in the rain. I think there's one coming up now, if I remember rightly. There you go, a little bit sideways there as I went through the water. So I did get the odd slip out, and there, look, I had to regain control of that there. And the chap behind me, I'm actually a an automatic driver, as most of you know that watch my channel. So I don't have the, there you go, big slide. I don't have the benefit of manual gearing to get me out of that trouble that easy, but also I'm not as quick, obviously, getting off the mark. But this particular vehicle is such a good vehicle at A-class. It's got a reasonably fast acceleration. Now that Ford GT chap behind me there is actually driving manual, and he's a much better racer than I am, and he's having big problems catching me in this thing. Now I've since actually tuned an A700 version of this. I didn't want to take it out of its class because I really like the feel. So what I did do is a minor bit of manipulation on the tune, and it is a really nice vehicle to drive. But I personally like this Donkervort in the A700 class of vehicles. I think it's where it belongs and where it feels great. So quite a tough old race, this one. Quite a long track as well, the Nurburgring GP, and in the rain it's quite brutal. Had a little bit of a skip out there, as you saw, as I come out of that corner. Probably caught a bit too much of that curbing. Bringing around here, that just got a bit of space between me and that Ford GT during this lap. Managed to space things out a little bit. I was quite wary of the fact that he's he's a lot better than me. Generally, most of the time he'll win races as opposed to me. So I wanted to try and bridge a gap there if I could and just push myself that little bit more. And the car was actually holding up really, really well. Again, I go through that puddle there. I found the problem is not going through that puddle can result in you getting the wrong line into the next corner, and the puddle's not enough to cause you problems. It is kind of the easier entry point for the apex, so you kind of suffer for it, but at the same time probably most other people driving around the track are doing that as well anyway. So we're into the final lap here of 3 on Nurburgring GP. Absolutely blasting it in this thing. It's an awesome car. A little bit of aqua there as I got round the corner, nothing too drastic. Caught myself on the ribbon there, nearly slid out. Managed to regain control. Made a few mistakes though, and obviously I don't want to be making mistakes, so this guy behind me will reel me in without too much effort. So nice big gap there, as you can see, as I'm coming up about 50% way around the Nurburgring GP circuit now, so I'm half a lap away from victory if I can keep it together. And that's where I nearly cost myself the race. Caught the grass there, it really threw me out. I nearly went into a 360 spin. I really torqued it hard against the spin and tried to bring it back and was just lucky enough to do it. But look at that gap behind now, it's kind of diminished, almost not there at all. Now we've got a really tight left-hander coming up here, and he is right on my tail. Big danger now of losing this first place after working so hard for the whole race. Just one little silly mistake can cost you the race. Well, I take this opportunity to thank you guys and gals for watching. I will be back with plenty more PvP action from Forza Motorsport 6. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Take care and keep watching. And it's a first place, and a well earned one.